What's up, Unbroken Nation? Hope that you're doing well. I'm actually away at a conference today, and outside of the normal intro, I just wanted to share a little bit of insight into what I've been spending the last week doing. You know, a big part of my life is predicated and dedicated to education. And you can't see it, but often, and every day actually, the screen in front of me that I see every day says, mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. And so much about mindset really starts with the information that we're putting into our brains. What are we learning? What are we taking in? What are we consuming? Who are we around? What are we doing with them? So much about what happens in our life really starts with the way that we are gathering, obtaining, retaining, and using education and the information that we get. And so I'm at this conference, I'm learning amazing people here this week. I'm learning from Tony Robbins, from Russell Brunson, from John Lee Dumas, from just so many different people. And it's absolutely amazing. I love being here and being in this environment. And I have this thought, you know, it wasn't that long ago that I would look at a room like this and I would say, that's nonsense. Why would I want to be around those people? Why would I ever want to be around people who think they're better than me? And it was such a limiting belief. And it was so self-imposed, because here's the truth. Here's the reality. The beliefs that we have, those become true, right? You hear me all the time tell you, what you think becomes what you speak become your action, and your action become your reality. And so if you're telling yourself you don't belong in that room, or those people are better than you, then guess what? That's going to hold true. But if you tell yourself, I do belong in that room, and those people who are in front of me, maybe they're just people I need to draft behind to get to where I want to go, then you start to learn how to understand what it means to adapt. And so that said, here I am at the conference. I'm sitting down, having a very late dinner, removed myself, don't have my mic down here. It's up in the room. And I said, let me sit here and make a note. And let me use this voice note as the intro for today's episode, because today's episode is an episode from the book, Think Unbroken, and it is an episode about the vortex, in that darkness, in that place where we're not showing up for ourselves, where we're not taking care of ourselves, where we're not doing the things that we said that we're going to do. And it's a conversation that's difficult to have. It's a conversation that's uncomfortable, but ultimately it's a conversation that leads us to this place where we have massive change occur in our life. So much about our lives start with the words that we're using. And so as we get into this episode, I just want to say thank you, and thank you for listening to this. I know the audio quality is vastly different than usual. I am literally recording this on my phone in a restaurant. Hopefully it's not too incredibly loud. If it is, I apologize, but I knew that I didn't want to not give you this today. So here's something I want you to do as you head into your day, your weekend, your life, what's next for you. I want you to really think about something important. What is the information that you're putting in? Where are you getting it from? Are you paying attention? Are you adopting it, and executing against it? And are you trying things to make your life better? All right, my friends, have an amazing, amazing day. And without further ado, let's get into the show. What's up, Unbroken Nation? Hello, my friends. I'm Michael Unbroken, host of the Think Unbroken podcast and founder of ThinkUnbroken.com. And I'm honored to be your trauma coach and mentor, because I believe that everyone is capable of getting unstuck, cultivating self-love, and becoming the hero of their own story. I believe that when implemented correctly, the practical tools and education you will receive from this show will help you lead an unbroken and extraordinary life. I believe that no matter what we come from, that we all have the ability to choose ourselves first, to create and manifest a powerful and grace-filled future, and love the reflection in the mirror. I believe that every day is a day to grow, learn, heal, and change. That's why I started my company, ThinkUnbroken.com, which is an online training and healing and personal growth platform where you get everything that I know about how to get motivated, be accountable, get out of the vortex, and become the hero of your own story through community, connection, and commitment. For more information, visit ThinkUnbroken.com. Please listen closely, as you may learn just one thing that will help you be unbroken. And please share this episode with at least 3 of your friends, because we all need community and connection in our healing journey. And be sure to DM me and tag me on Instagram at Michael Unbroken so that I can say hi. I just want to thank you again for being a part of this, for listening and being a member of the Unbroken Nation. Now, let's get into today's show and make the world unbroken. The vortex. The things that we decide to run from are the truth. When you make excuses, you're running from the truth. David Goggins. The vortex is the cataclysm that our lives become when we let our stories own us instead of owning our stories. The vortex is a place of self-loathing, self-harm, self-denial, and insert other negative words here. And the cold, hard truth is, it's bullshit. The vortex is the place that hopes and dreams go to die. The vortex is where we lose ourselves due to the circumstances of our past that have propelled us face first into the concrete. The way you talk to yourself is likely more harsh, critical, unkind, and vulgar than the way that you would talk to your worst enemy. There are so many aspects to the vortex, but I want to focus on the most important aspect, the way we talk to ourselves. That is the core of the vortex. The foundation of negative self-talk is a collection of thought processes that have been interrupted by outside sources such as our parents, teachers, or bullies. In a perfect world, the people around you would bring you up, guide you to success, tell you that you are amazing, and show you the way. A normal experience of childhood would be that of safety, security, and care. Well, the world isn't perfect, and for us, our normal is everyone else's hell. The people that were supposed to guide us instead fucked us up, and that is not your fault. The people that hurt people are monsters. So why should you continue to torture yourself by living vicariously through them? You are a compilation of all of the language and events in your life. And if the language and events that shaped you were toxic and harmful, then it is entirely reasonable that you would be stuck in a pattern of negativity. No one is impervious to negative self-talk, and in this case, it is not your fault. Even Superman questioned his ability from time to time. Think about a rotten apple. How does that saying go? A rotten apple spoils the bunch. Imagine that your rotten apple is a moment when you are 9 years old, and your mother says, "You are a worthless piece of shit, and no one is ever going to love you. I should have had you aborted." Now imagine that the bunch is all of your self-talk from that moment forward. That one rotten apple, or rotten apples, thrown into your barrel will turn all of the rest of your healthy apples into black gunk covered in mold. That gunk and toxic mold represents your negative self-talk. In the coming chapters, we will work together to interrupt and shift negative thought patterns. The vortex is the voice in your head that lies to you and tells you that you aren't good enough, capable enough, attractive enough, talented enough, smart enough, or loved enough. It's a place of pure fucking evil, and it's your fault if you stay stuck there, and it's your responsibility for getting out. One of my favorite things about the word fault is that the root means to be responsible. I like to consider that fault can be both good and bad. What if I said you're responsible for living your life to its fullest and most satisfactory potential? How would that make you feel? What if I said it's your fault that your life is a horror movie? Hard words to hear, right? I agree. But you need to hear that. I desperately needed to hear that. And I wish someone would have hit me in the face with a brick until that concept was metaphorically and perhaps literally beaten into my head. Did you know that you can sponsor an episode of the Think Unbroken podcast? All you have to do is visit thinkunbrokenpodcast.com, and there's a little coffee icon down there at the bottom of the screen, or you can click the sponsor an episode link and your name will go on the sponsored list for sponsors of the Think Unbroken podcast. One of the things you may not know is that this is an internal podcast. There's no major sponsors. Coca-Cola doesn't sponsor us. We don't get the Joe Rogan endorsement. We're over here trying to create massive change in the world, and I cannot do it alone, and I need your help. So if you have the ability, please visit thinkunbrokenpodcast.com, help sponsor an episode, and we will put your name on the sponsorship list where everyone can see your contribution to the Unbroken Nation. My friend, I appreciate it so much. I want to continue to make these shows and bring tremendous value to your life, to our world, and to the Unbroken Nation, but I cannot do it alone. If you have the ability, please visit thinkunbrokenpodcast.com and sponsor an episode. All right, my friends. If I stayed the course I was on, I would be dead right now, and you would not be reading this. I needed to hear that I was to blame and at fault for the disaster that my life had become. No one else was to blame. I couldn't blame my mother, my father, stepfather, grandmother, teachers, friends, or anyone in between for anything that was happening. I needed not only to hear that being in the vortex was my fault, but I also needed to understand that everything happening in my life that was good, bad, or indifferent was entirely my fault as well. I was able to look in the mirror and make a decision to change, but that was only after disaster had already struck. Call it dumb luck or vicious stubbornness. Either way, I made a choice to become healthy, and that choice would take years to realize. I'm going to take it a little easier on you than I did myself. I am going to let you off the hook. It's okay if you didn't take ownership over your past faults and mistakes until this moment. I invoke my right to pardon you for any and everything that you have fucked up until this very moment. But I implore you to heed my words with full understanding. From this moment, it is all on you. No one else is at fault for the things that will happen in your life from this moment forward. Good, bad, or indifferent, everything is on you. And no one is coming to rescue you from the bullshit. I blamed everyone and everything around me for the shit that my life was. It was a pure disaster, and I believed the repercussions of my actions were never my fault. This belief landed me in the middle of the vortex. My stepfather did a masterful job of belittling me ad nauseum. Until the day I die, I will remember sitting on the living room floor of our rat and roach-infested house on the west side of Indy as he rained his hate and abuse down on me over and over again. Do you know why your real dad left you? Because you are a lazy, fat cat who is never going to be anything. I would have left your stupid ass too. You aren't shit. That is a hell of a rotten apple in an 8-year-old's bunch. The hardest part about remembering those moments is that I ended up exactly where he said I would. I was overweight, not tapping into my potential, wasting my talents, killing myself, and hurting everyone around me. I wasn't shit, and I had to accept that. But I had to do something about it. You also have to do something about it. Becoming unbroken. The vortex. Negative self-talk and self-image is one of the hardest hurdles to overcome and one of the biggest catalysts for failure. Write 5 things that you love about yourself and why you love them. This may be difficult, but do not go forward until you write 5 things. Hold yourself accountable in this moment. Example: I love the courage that I have to get up every day and live. This exercise is not the easiest in the world to do, and I'm going to share something with you here that I think is very important. Self-talk and learning to love ourselves is so incredibly fundamental to this healing process that I would argue that it is the most important thing that we do. The way you talk to yourself is more important than anything else that you do in this life, because no one is in your head more than you are.
No one walks the streets for you. No one breathes for you. No one loves for you. No one lives for you. This is on you. And the things that are taking place and transpiring in your head should be full of joy and hope and love and care. Now, look, it's not to say there's not room here to push yourself and to force yourself to show up for you and to do the hard things because you know that down the road they are going to be impactful. But it starts with how you talk to yourself. The reason that I want you to do this exercise and to think about the parts of yourself that you love is because it's hard, because this is difficult, because the world has told you time and time again that you aren't worthy, you're not valid, you're nothing. But I don't believe that. And I don't believe that since you are reading this, that you believe that either. And so challenge yourself right now to write 5 things that you love about yourself. Find something, force yourself, do it, reframe that thing in your brain, those apples that have been so bad and spoiling you, throw them the fuck out. It is your time, my friend. It is your time, and it starts right now. Unbroken Nation, hope that you just got a tremendous amount of value from today's episode. I want to know what you think. Please do me a favor and review, rate, and share the episode with 3 friends on social media today. It would mean the world if you did, because ultimately at the end of the day, creating community and connection is how we heal generational trauma in the world. And I need your help to do that, Unbroken Nation. So if you're on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you are, please like, comment, share, review. I want to know not only what you like about the show, but how I can make the show better, how I can make this further about helping you on your healing journey. So do me a favor, and when you do, shoot me a screenshot of you making the review to my DM at Michael Unbroken on Instagram so that I can have a conversation with you, say hi, and more importantly, so I can share it with the Unbroken Nation. Thank you so much, my friend.